Golden notes: systemic sclerosis. It's a chronic autoimmune disease characterized by increased fibroblast activity and fibrosis in a number of different organ systems, characterized by hardened sclerotic skin and other connective tissues. Epidemiology: it is 4 times more common in females, higher incidence in African Americans. Peak incidence between 30 to 50 years. There are 3 patterns of the disease. Limited cutaneous systemic sclerosis. In limited central systemic sclerosis are anti-centromere antibodies. The more common type of systemic sclerosis, Raynaud's may be first sign seen in 90 to 95% of patients with systemic sclerosis. Scleroderma affects face and distal limbs predominantly. Areas of skin affected include only the face, forearms, and lower legs up to the knee. It does not affect the upper arms, upper legs, or trunk. Associated with anti-centromere antibodies, previously known as CREST syndrome. Calcinosis, Raynaud's phenomenon, esophageal dysmotility, sclerodactyly, telangiectasia. The most likely cause of this patient's dysphagia, esophageal smooth muscle atrophy and fibrosis. Pulmonary hypertension is one of the more common late complications seen in CREST syndrome, the most common cause of death. Malabsorption is most likely to develop as further complication. So the limited symptoms of scleroderma are referred to as CREST, C. calcinosis, R. Raynaud's, E. esophageal dysfunction, S. sclerodactyla, and T. telangiectasias. Type 2, diffuse cutaneous systemic sclerosis. It is less common. Scleroderma affects trunk and proximal limb predominantly, although face may be involved in either type. Skin areas involved include also the upper arms, thighs, or trunk, associated with SCL70 antibodies. Hypertension, lung fibrosis, and renal involvement are seen. Diffuse cutaneous systemic sclerosis may lead to scleroderma renal crisis in up to 10% of cases. It has a poor prognosis. Treatment involves starting ACE inhibitor. Type 3, scleroderma without internal organ involvement, tightening and fibrosis of skin, may be manifest as plaques, morphea, or linear. Antibodies: ANA positive in 90%, RF positive in 30%, anti-centromere antibodies associated with limited cutaneous systemic sclerosis, anti-SCL70 antibodies associated with diffuse cutaneous systemic sclerosis, anti-RNA polymerase antibodies found in patients with diffuse disease associated with rapidly progressive skin involvement, increased risk of scleroderma renal crisis, and increased risk for cancer. Other investigations: serum protein electrophoresis, elevated gamma globulins. Treatment: immunosuppressive therapy like methotrexate, organ-specific therapy, gastroesophageal reflux disease PPR, renal crisis ACE inhibitor, interstitial lung disease. The most appropriate treatment is cyclophosphamide. Azathioprine is normally used as maintenance therapy following cyclophosphamide. Prognosis: the most important initial investigation with respect to determining patient outlook is urea and electrolytes. We have something called the scleroderma renal crisis, major complication of systemic sclerosis. Severe and life-threatening renal disease develops in approximately 10 to 15% of patients. Features: severe hypertension with diastolic blood pressure over 100 mm mercury, usually with a grade 3 or 4 hypertension retinopathy, together with rapid deterioration of renal function and heart failure. Symptoms of malignant hypertension with headaches, blurred vision, fits, and heart failure. Hematological tests often demonstrate a thrombocytopenia and/or microangiopathic hemolysis. Treatment: hypertension, use ACE inhibitor. Renal dialysis may be required. An excessive reduction in blood pressure or hypovolemia should be avoided. As the diamond notes in this golden notes, scleroderma renal crisis is an exception to the rule that said that ACE inhibitors are generally avoided in most patients with acute renal failure. But in scleroderma renal crisis, it is an indication as long as renal function is closely monitored. This was provided by the SSSM Study Smart series for Mrcp, your easy way to easy pass. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Telegram, and YouTube channel. Thank you very much.